Welcome back. Still discussing the impact of community policing in Nigeria. Thank you, Reverend. Please take me to the next question. So what is the major setback of community policing? What is the major setback? Why it's not effective? Why is not, people don't hear much about it, and evil is increasing, multiplying every day?
The society today is a unique one. There is no doubt that there are so many setbacks to this concept of community policing. Now, let me begin with the issue of when somebody is afraid of giving information, it's one of the setbacks. You know that actually this young man or this young woman is involved in armed robbery. They are going around houses, breaking and entering. And for fear, maybe of attack, for fear of one thing or the other from the person and his or her group, you will keep quiet. Then there is no way the community policing will thrive. There's no way we can achieve peace in such a community. So
sometimes
they must be willing.
Sometimes, Reverend, it's also fear that the police may even reveal who gave that information. Because sometimes you will be surprised. I witnessed it. I lost my car. My car was snatched from me. Real robbery with arms. I've managed to save my head and my son. Little boy was about a year plus. And then when I reported to police, the way my driver behaved, I saw it. And I reported to police. I said, I suspect my driver. And I gave them reason why I suspect. Only for the driver to come next day with his wife to tell me, said the police tell and say, I be my first suspect. I'm sure this is life. So in such thing, if I was not fast enough to say yes, of course, you're my driver, who do you think that will suspect first? If you're also a security in an office or in somebody's house, if something happens, security man is the first person they interrogate or ask questions. That's how I covered that. But I was not happy that they let that go. So sometimes this is one of the reasons, honestly, why people don't disclose such again, so that they don't go after them. So
Thank you very much. Yeah. You see, in this scenario, the driver, whether the police informed the wife or the police informed him,
himself,
obviously
with the wife,
is the first suspect. Because he was the one driving you when the attack came, and from his suspicious behavior has made you to suspect that he may have a hand.
You shouldn't have been told that your madam say. That's important. What I'm saying. So it depends.
I wouldn't speak for those set of policemen at that particular time. But it is not a professional practice.
At all. I know
it's
it's
never
not
a professional practice. Once information is given, how can you be, leaking secret? Because it's one of the oaths we take against this simply.
Yeah.
And secondly, we even spend money in paying informants. So an informant haven't collected your money to supply information, you cannot endanger the life of such a person.
I will still go back to that, your first word, you said properly done.
Properly
so this
done.
My case is not properly done.
It wasn't properly handled.
Yeah, handled. And so they've been do that to some other people. So they start to keep an eye. Let's keep quiet.
It's just like in our nation, the era of this whistle blowing. Somebody haven't blown the whistle, and the government moved into action, and at the end they will now start coming to the air to say this was the person that blew it. It makes no sense.
Exactly.
And it's totally wrong.
Yes.
So the
we
issue
should be conscious of that as well.
One of the setbacks of this community policing is the uncooperative attitude of the community members
and the policemen
supplying information, and the policemen too,
yes,
who for any factor, I don't know the reason why such a policeman or group of policemen should be involved in letting the cat out of the bag.
Exactly.
It is not professional, and it is one of the reasons
really
that we bring back
one of the setback, really.
Yes, setback the community policing success. Then lack of logistics. Just as I've said, if, for example, you are a law enforcement officer in a particular community and you don't have the logistics to curb crime, logistics in terms of mobility, I mentioned just now, sometimes you pay informants
that's true,
to take the pain to go around sit in beer parlors, collect information, and bring.
Yes.
And those information must be verifiable. It's not every information they just bring, then you go into action to strike.
That's true.
You know, logistics is another factor. I have seen a situation where people will put distress call to the police, and they will tell them, no, we don't have vehicle.
Vehicle to move.
You know, it's a very serious setback when it comes to community policing or security issue generally. What about the issue of funding?
Yeah.
It's another issue. Then the uncooperative attitude, just as I've explained before, of the community members, we don't want to cooperate with them, and there must be a reason for it. Why do the community people don't want to cooperate with the security for their own benefit, not even the benefit of the security officers. It is for their own benefit. So when we look at some of these issues, we see that they constitute setback, they constitute disadvantage to the work community policing is set to meet and achieve.
Okay, before I take a break again, is there a difference between policing and community itself?
Policing
and community.
And community, as we have said before, from the definition, community is a group of people with common characteristics. They come together, they live together, they do things in common. Then the word policing, I have said that oftentimes policing and police, they are interchangeably used. Policing is the action of every individual, the consciousness of every individual being proactive in ensuring safety. So the policing, as the word sound, is not only related to police.
Men that wear uniform.
Uniform organization. By the time you are conscious of, this is my son, this is my child, this is my daughter, I don't want anything to happen to him or her, and wherever the child goes, you are always conscious, monitoring. That process, you are policing that child.
Exactly.
So everybody is involved in the work of policing. But police is an empowered government arm of forces in the country, saddled with the responsibility of maintaining law and order, enforcing the law of the land, protecting lives and property. So this collaboration is what today is being solicited from the members of the public. So that the community policing as a concept will benefit us and everybody will be safe and will be happy with ourselves.
All right, thank you so much. It's time for a break. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
This is Vivid View.